Hey everybody, welcome to Back Issues. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben.
Today we're going to talk about Axis from 2014, written by Rick Remender, with art by Adam Kubert, Lionel Yu, Terry Dodson, and Jim Chung.
Is this the most recent event that we have done on Back Issues?
I think so.
Yeah, I remember when this was coming out.
Yeah.
I'd see the issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Comic store
Yeah, with their
while we
terrible
were shooting other episodes.
with their terrible
Typography?
typefaces. Yeah, where they're like, it's supposed to be Axis, but then you flip it and you can still read
it
it. But
also says Axis.
it just says Sixes.
Yeah. You made the S look like the A
Well,
and the I.
It's awful. That's the beginning of awful for Axis.
Well, it's like they named it specifically so they could do that.
Yeah. They're like, well, we could flip it. This book is a goddamn mess.
Is it a play on the Axis, like the Axis powers in
Yes.
World War II? Okay.
Kind of.
Only kind of?
It's only in the most juvenile of interpretations.
Like the Axis are evil, so these are evil people.
Yeah.
Was there is Red Skull like a prominent character? Okay.
Yes. So there you can see the connection. But all right, so let's set the stage for Axis because like Axis is the big summer blockbuster event. It's like the reason you shouldn't do an event every summer.
Because you're supposed to.
Yeah, like Civil War came out in the summertime.
Okay.
And so everyone was like, "Oh, so that's what we do now." And sometimes
like with the movies.
yeah, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it really, really doesn't.
Was this was this the year following Original Sin?
This is no, it's before Original Sin. Actually, I think
before
Original Sin was probably the most recent thing we ever done.
Okay.
Okay.
But no, Original Sin came later. Axis came right after Avengers versus X-Men,
Okay.
which is another one that we did kind of very recently.
Yeah.
In reference point to its release. In Avengers vs. X-Men, the Phoenix Force was split into different parts, and like 5 of them turned into Phoenixes, and then Cyclops kept it all, and he killed Professor X.
Yeah.
And then Hope took the Phoenix, and then Wanda and Hope made it go away. That's what happened there, and then Cap is like, like, we really haven't been doing a really good job with humanity and mutant relations.
Yeah, no shit.
Maybe we should do something about that. So he created the Uncanny Avengers. And
Now, which version of Cap is this? Is this old Cap?
this is Steve Rogers, Captain America, back. During that period, Steve Rogers still had the super soldier serum and was young.
Oh, okay.
And he formed the Avengers Unity Squad, which included Alex Summers, Scott Summers' brother. Because he's like, Scott Summers fucked up on a big grand scale in front of everybody. If I get his brother, put him in charge of an Avengers team. He's also a mutant. His name was Havoc.
Yes.
Great name for publicity. He would be in charge of that team, and it would look real good. It's weird because Steve Rogers is suddenly really, really concerned with public relations and like looking good in front of everybody.
Seem like
And like
part of his
playing the
character.
political scale where he's like, no, look, I'll put a mutant in charge, but it's a mutant that's friendly to humans, and it's also the brother of the guy who fucked up in front of everybody.
Hey, Steve, you're a soldier. Just be a soldier.
Right? But no, he's also been in charge of the Avengers for so long, except he really hasn't. But now he is, because like, fuck Tony, he's a dick.
Yeah, well, he's only been in charge since end of Civil War, right? Or
No, I mean, he's been in charge. Like, he used to lead the Avengers, but he didn't
Oh.
fund the Avengers or run it.
Right,
You know,
so did
as
he
a
really lead
corporation.
it?
He led it in battle. You know,
Yeah.
he'd be like, "Oh no, it's Doctor Doom,"
Right.
and then he'd tell everyone where to go. He's a master strategist.
Yeah.
But not a great brand manager.
Was that coming to play in the book where like he's actually
No.
really bad at it?
I mean, like,
So,
it's
maybe
evident.
you shouldn't have even tried that.
It's only evident in how everything falls to shit. So,
Now, I'm sorry, I'm just a little confused because he died in Civil War.
yes.
And then I thought when he came back he was old, but that happened later.
No, yeah.
He just came back and everything was fine.
Yes.
So there was no consequences for him dying.
No.
Then why would there be?
Right.
We have to have him be in movies.
Yeah. They didn't even care about that at that point. They were just like, Steve's back. Like, yay.
We found it, I guess like when Batman got hit by the Omega Sanction, he eventually came back.
Yep, and he
everything
wasn't
was fine.
old or different. He was fine. In fact, he came back and he's like, I'm doing it wrong. Global Batman. Similar. No. Actually, Steve just, I'm back. Whoopee.
Right.
Then he got sent to Dimension Z and ran into Arnim Zola's kid, who was an infant, and saved him. He was like trapped in this like other dimension for a couple of years. But by the way, like only relative to him.
Oh.
And he took like Arnim Zola's infant child. Arnim Zola's a villain of
Yeah.
Captain America. And then raised him in this alternate, like, nightmare dimension. So basically, Cap has a son,
Oh my
and
god.
then brings him out of a Dimension Z, and that's after he comes back to life.
I think I remember that
It was
because
just, because he's also in Secret Wars.
Yeah.
His Nomad fucking survives the Secret Wars by going through the dimensional door.
there's this weird book that we did on Off the Rack where Nomad
Yeah.
was a big part of it.
I think it was Hydra.
Was it Hydra?
It was Hydra.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, this is all prelude. So the Avengers Unity Squad fucks up Royal, and they're terrible at it. Their first assignment or arc was to battle the Red Skull, who had, like a 1950s science fiction movie, unearthed the body of Professor Charles Xavier, removed his brain, and then put it in his own brain. Like two brains. And
Wait, just put it like on top?
yeah. And like connected it.
Did he like cut open his head so he could put another brain in there?
Yeah.
That's messed up.
And then
fucking weird.
And from that,
Well, you see,
that should not work.
No,
Not
no,
even a
with
little.
Professor X's brain, it's fine because
Why?
he's telepathic.
and in fact, Red Skull gains all of Professor X's telepathic abilities.
Well, I can tell where this is going. Professor X is still in there, right?
He wasn't until this book.
Oh.
But yes. Because the Avengers / X-Men that they had joined together to create the Uncanny Avengers, which is like Rogue and Wolverine and Sunspot and Wanda, who, Rogue hates Wanda because Wanda made the mutants go away.
Right.
Yeah,
So
well,
there's that whole tension. Oh,
that's-
they're like, oh, the
Wouldn't
professor's
anyone
still
hate
in.
her for the head?
The
Who was a
mutants
mutant?
should, yes.
Yeah.
But
really
Havoc.
just Rogue
But remember,
had
it's not her fault, guys. She's just an uncontrollable power monster.
Yeah, exactly. But what's his name? Alex doesn't care because Alex is like weirdly not interested in all that bullshit. Like he holds a press conference during the Uncanny Avengers period, and he's like, "There's no such thing as mutants. Like that's just a word we use to describe people that are slightly different from regular people. Like I don't consider myself different from anyone else.
Right.
We're just people."
Aside from the fact that you can create like concussive blast.
It's like,
Well,
but he's like, but on a genetic level, like I'm a person.
Yeah, like some
With
people
superpowers.
can do like complex mathematics.
Exactly,
that
and I
most
can
people
shoot
can't do.
blasts out of my hands.
Yeah.
He's
Some
like,
people
but
can run faster than other people.
Yeah.
Like
And his-
people have differing abilities.
he goes just shy of being like, what's the fucking difference between Spider-Man and Wolverine on a genetic level?
exactly. Yeah, there's all
Isn't
kinds
there
of.
one?
There's Steve Rogers too,
Yes.
who also has special abilities.
Yeah, like
should we fear
you're
and hate him?
superhuman, but you're superhuman because you were born that way, and somehow that's worse. Like the problem
Yes, it
with
doesn't
the
make
X-Men
sense.
in the Marvel Universe is that you can't celebrate the Fantastic Four and hate the X-Men because the X-Men were born with their abilities, and the Fantastic Four were people first.
Yeah.
That's a weirdly
The public would not
xenophobic
distinguish
problem.
between those two.
Nope.
types.
If you
No,
hate
but
people
we
with
do.
powers, fine. But like that's not how it works.
yeah,
But in
It
this,
just, the world doesn't seem real.
Yes.
It's like why?
why would they hate them
would they-
for that reason?
Right.
And I think but it does become real because there are groups that generate anti-mutant hysteria,
Mm-hmm.
like almost completely manufactured. Like they have a fucking problem with it, and so they create a machine of propaganda
Right.
that then ropes other people into having a problem.
No, it makes total sense because, like, someone who goes out and gets powers, like, oh, that's on them. They chose to do that. But
Right,
someone,
yeah, they're-
someone who just got them, from birth,
Yeah.
that could be anybody. That could be you or
I
you.
guess the thing is like they turn at a certain point, like they're
Yes.
normal until they get the
Until they reach
powers,
puberty.
So, like that's kind of scary, I guess.
I guess. I mean, but their problem is always like, what if they had the power to do this? I'm like, what about all the people who have powers to do whatever they do already?
What about Spider-Man?
What about
Yeah.
getting a license and having the power to drive a car?
Yeah, and then actually the X-Men make that point like every time it's brought up.
Yeah.
They're like, well, and of course they even say it in the X-Men movie where like we license people to drive, but not to live. And it's like fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, Red Skull becomes like a psychic Red Skull, and
Yeah.
it turns out he like hates mutants, and he's always hated
Why?
them. Because they're genetically inferior to his Aryan bullshit. Like he's a Nazi, and
Yeah.
he has a problem with genetically distinctly different people.
He's a red skulled Nazi.
Yeah, but like
Yeah, but
that's only because of his super soldier serum.
Yeah, that's not because of his genetics.
Yeah, he
He's
wasn't born with the X
genetically
gene. He was
fine.
He was fine.
But aren't mutants like better? Like shouldn't
Yeah,
he
shouldn't
want
he aspire-
to,
I mean-
engineer people into that?
The fact is,
to make a real
he's not
Superman?
Apocalypse, okay?
yeah, but Apocalypse does appear in this book, and he does do that. Red Skull's
Apocalypse is in this book?
everything is in this book.
Oh my god.
Everything, and it's not nearly as
Wait.
long as any event we've ever done.
Is
Thanos
Galactus in this book?
No, okay, no. Galactus, I think, was in the Ultimate Universe at the time, and Thanos was in Infinity at the time.
Ah,
So
he had his own story.
they had their own.
Okay,
their own
good,
thing.
because like then
It was
it just
a
kind
cosmic
of
story.
Yes.
well, then it would dwarf Red Skull's importance. You're just like, who the fuck cares? We got to deal with these assholes.
well-
Didn't Apocalypse dwarf Red Skull's?
Yes, and he does.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, but the fact is, like, Red Skull has a problem with the fucking mutants.
Yeah.
But then he has to resurrect the dead body of one and then squish his brain into his own, and that's not a problem. Like, they're clearly better because you're literally grave robbing in order to gain their powers.
Yeah.
Like, you're a hypocritical douchebag.
Well,
but he's
look-
also an evil Nazi Red Skull, so obviously
you have to understand, if I could get this power any other way, I would.
Yeah, but
I'm
like-
just a little dirtier. For it.
hypocrisy is the least of his sins. Anyway, Magneto discovers that Red Skull went to Genosha, the island of mutants that were just destroyed.
Yeah.
To create a mutant concentration camp.
In the home of the mutants?
Yeah. Haha, lol, get it. And Magneto's like, oh no, I survived a Holocaust, and I'm going to end this one. And then the Avengers show up, like the uncanny ones, and they're like, oh, we've captured the Red Skull. And Magneto's like, yeah, kill. And they're like, fuck. But that was only the tip of the iceberg, because killing the Red Skull activated the evil portion of Charles Xavier's brain that was responsible for the 1990s event Onslaught. This, combined with the Red Skull's evil brain, generated Red Onslaught.
Wait.
What's Onslaught?
Well, no, I've heard of Onslaught
Yeah.
having to do with Professor X, but Red Skull was killed.
Yeah,
Both brains should be dead.
right, but the psychic shock of being killed, like, resurrected him into this other like psychic entity. It's like the psychic powers of Professor X's brain like jolted him back to life.
You see, Professor X has an auto defibrillator sequence. However, it doesn't work when he dies,
Here's
just
the
when
thing.
someone else is using his brain.
They don't even tell you. It's just,
That's
oh
amazing.
no, killing him has unlocked Red Onslaught. And
like a boss.
And
Yeah,
and
right?
he legitimately just grows to be really big and just starts attacking.
He gets
everybody.
big too?
Oh, he gets big.
Like
yeah.
his brain makes him big?
Yeah, like he's big, like a big monster.
And he has a giant suit, which he suddenly got.
Well, that's
Well, I guess
that
he
is
built
that's a
that.
psychic armor suit.
The suit is psychic?
Yeah, well, Onslaught is a psychic entity.
Yeah, but that means he can conjure material from nothing?
Yes.
That's not psychic. That's
Well,
totally
that's-
different.
Well, it's
Psychokinetic.
psychokinetic. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he's pulling pieces like from and then
Here's the
sticking them
thing.
on him with telekinesis, I don't know.
Let's say that's what he does.
Okay.
But we never see
Or
it.
maybe it's not even real. That's just what people see.
Onslaught has armor, and who cares? Red Onslaught.
Red Onslaught.
So then,
All right.
and by the way, like, so Red Onslaught's like wreaking havoc in Genosha, and
You know
I
why
guess
he has armor? Because it looks cool.
yes.
And there are giant tentacles everywhere.
Yep.
What?
Oh, his tentacles too?
Yeah, they're psychic tentacles.
Oh.
I know where that story goes. I don't want to read that story.
Wow. So Magneto's like, okay, I've unleashed Red Onslaught with like the worst Avengers ever. Meanwhile,
You mean the not Avengers?
yeah. So Red Onslaught's psychic energy is so powerful. You might even say he became so powerful that his hate was spreading psychically across the planet.
Oh.
And affected the Avengers, because at this point in Axis, Steve Rogers is now an old man
Oh.
and has passed the mantle on to Sam Wilson, the Falcon.
Oh, so that like just
Okay.
happened.
So that just happened
Okay.
in this.
Okay.
So Steve Rogers is like, an old helper of the Avengers. He stays back and guards the base.
Right.
But, Iron Man, Thor, who's not yet Jane Foster Thor, Vision, Wasp, who... in a Uncanny Avengers story, she and Havoc go into the future, and in their future, they're married and have a kid, And so when they come back, they're like, wow, like things work out for us. Like we're the idealed version of like the Avengers Unity Squad. Like we're proof that it works. Like mutants and humans living together, creating people and like and living in harmony. When they come back, they're like, let's work towards that future.
Okay.
You know, so technically,
So let's bang.
well, yeah, and like, and they consider each other like they're like husband and wife at this point. So
Even though they're not actually married.
even though they're not,
Well, you see, we get married in the future, so like,
Yeah,
what
it's
does it matter?
practically already happened.
yeah,
I don't
So-
understand. That's like saying, all right, well, I'm dead in the future, so like, why am I even bother living?
Yeah, I'm basically dead.
yeah. So anyway, Red Onslaught's psychic wave of hate affects the Avengers and makes them all like angry
Bad
with.
guys?
Well, they make them angry with each other. It just makes them more aggressive,
So that they can fight each other.
so they'll fight each other.
This is like taking steroids in a way.
Yeah, they get all like raged out. But Iron Man has psychic dampeners installed in his armor, which he then turns on and then reverses the effects.
convenient.
It is very convenient, you know. But he does it, and so the Avengers are like, "Whoo, that was scary."
Oh, so he turns it off for all. He creates a.
Yeah, he creates like a bubble,
field?
An aura.
like a field, yes, around.
Do they have to stay in it all the time, or they get angry?
That would be cool.
It goes pretty far. Well, they know they're like, okay,
stay in
well,
the
where's this
mansion.
coming from? So they have to go fight Red Onslaught.
Oh, so
like,
they just stay together.
they just stay together and then go to Genosha and fight him. So then
They
they
very quickly start to address this problem.
yes.
Okay.
So then like they go and fight him, and it's stupid. And that's the whole book. Is not.
Wait,
and by the way,
at the very
well,
beginning.
I mean like the whole book is, and then they go and fight him,
Ah.
or they go and fight them, and they do that. And I
They just keep
literally,
fighting different
and they just
people.
keep fighting different fucking people. And by they, I mean different groups all just fight each other. And so, like, the Avengers go to Genosha, and, like, all available superheroes go to Genosha to go fight Red Onslaught. And a couple of the Jean Grey students are in this fight, including, like, Quentin Quire and Kid Apocalypse and stuff. And that's where Apocalypse comes from. Like, Kid Apocalypse is the, like, resurrected new vessel for Apocalypse. But yeah, but in a previous and cool story, Deadpool befriends him and is like, "No, you are not your genetics. Like you're a different person than Apocalypse, and I'm gonna make sure that you don't turn out to be like Apocalypse." And like makes fucking friends with him. And it's a really cool and humanizing moment for Deadpool. So the Avengers and the Inhuman, well, I think like only Medusa shows up, but like and an Inhuman and some mutants and like Nova all go and attack Red Onslaught, and Doctor Strange and Wanda team up to try and like invert the Red Skull's evil psychic powers.
Okay, no. Doctor Strange would never work with Wanda because
Oh no,
he's like, no, screw this bitch.
Yeah,
also,
you
she
fuck up
doesn't know how
everything.
magic goes.
Everyone eventually forgave Wanda. At
Magic
this
doesn't
point.
work that way.
Yeah.
You have to
No.
study and train.
Well, that was like 5 years ago. They got over.
Yeah, that was like in comic books. That was like 2 weeks ago.
Do you understand how hard I had to meditate to get past your shit?
Yeah.
It was like some next level meditation.
So they're still fight. Oh my goodness! They spend a whole.
Oh my
chapter
god!
of this
Well,
book
because like they
fighting him.
fight him, right? And then he fights, and then but he's he's stronger than them, and so then they go and they regroup, and then Havoc's like, "We're gonna fight him even more," and then they go and they fight him, and then he defeats them, and then they go and they regroup, and then Iron Man's like, "We're gonna fight him even harder than we did before," and then they go and fight him, and like every time they go and fight him, they're like, "Who can reverse the polarity of Red Skull's brain so that Charles Xavier can take over?" Because at one point, while Red Onslaught is like, "I'm gonna fuck up everything," Xavier goes and finds Rogue.
Wait,
Like, Xavier's psychic spirit goes to find Rogue, and he's like, "Rogue,
help me.
I'm still in there. Don't let this be my legacy. Like, stop him." And she's like, "I'm trying." And he's like, "Well, you're not trying hard enough."
She's like, wait, if you can project yourself out here,
Why
why don't
can't
you
you
just take the fuck over?
He's like Kenny in the South Park movie. He's just like, "I can't understand what you're saying." It's literally that ineffectual. So Red Skull sees into Iron Man's mind,
Okay.
and he's like, and by the way, Iron Man's like,
Drink.
that happens later. So
But
Iron Man...
he can't mind control people like Professor X can.
No.
Control?
No.
No.
Not as... No.
But he can still, like, read their thoughts.
Well, also, mostly because we have psychics on our side. Like, Iron Man has psychic dampeners, and we got Quentin Quire, and we got, like, fucking Wanda and Doctor Strange and shit. Okay. So, like, we got our
So that
ourselves
aspect
covered.
of his abilities is...
And yet, even
But he's
with,
also, like, making the world hate itself, so, like, everyone's fighting all over.
Okay.
But even with the psychic dampeners, he can still, like, get in there a little
He can see it. Like, he can, like, read your thoughts. And he does, and he's like, ooh, I know that you, like, you said that you reformed and fixed everything, but you have these adamantium sentinels that I've just resurrected, and I'm gonna throw them at you! And everyone's like, the fuck, Iron Man?
God
You
damn it.
built giant adamantium sentinels?
Why?
What were they for? To round up the X-Men and fuck us over? He's like, I built those during the Civil War. I was trying to fuck over everybody, okay?
Look, these are sins of my past.
Yeah.
I've apologized for Civil War on numerous occasions. Let's not revisit.
So Magneto's like, oh, I'll fight the giant sentinels along with Iron Man, and they team up and fight the fucking robot
Well,
sentinels.
you got Doom here.
Oh, Dr.
Loki.
Doom. Well, that's later. They see, as everyone starts to lose, fucking Magneto leaves. He fucks off, and he calls all the villains that he knows to try and tip the scales.
Okay.
Which is like,
Why would they help him?
Because the world's getting fucked up, and it's like, most of them...
And they're not doing the fucking up.
Yeah.
So like, oh, this Red Onslaught, whatever, is showing us up.
Well, he also doesn't...
This newbie is...
Red Onslaught is like, fuck all y'all. Like, I'm gonna kill everybody.
Right. I thought he wanted to promote genetic...
He is. He's gonna kill all the
superiority.
mutants, but, like, he's not gonna share the world with Doctor Doom.
Right.
And he's already established that, like, Magneto's a Jew, so, he's not gonna make it into the Third Reich. So... We got Magneto basically shows up with all his rowdy friends, including Carnage and Hobgoblin.
Why is Carnage friends with Magneto?
He's not, but like he is a
bad guy.
They wanted Carnage in the story.
How does Magneto have everyone's phone number?
I don't know. My assumption is that Magneto basically just like flies over Manhattan and goes like, "Who's a bad guy?" and wants to come with me to go get in a big fight.
I mean, maybe he knows one or two from like...
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, but I know." Yeah, like if
Maybe
he calls
them all
them
bitches.
bitches.
Hey, you guys suck.
And then they all chase him.
Come get me. I dare you.
Yeah, this is Red Onslaught, by the way. So look for me.
I'm a giant guy with tentacles on an island.
He's just a 13-year-old with a phone with an ID blocker. He brings Loki and Doctor Doom and like the Enchantress, and just everybody, and they all go and they fight. And Mystique, who distracts Red Onslaught long enough for like other people to try and like flip the script on him. Mystique impersonates Steve Rogers. And he's like, I'm back, and I'm going to beat you. And Red Onslaught's like, no, you're not. You're Mystique. Meh. That's the problem with having, like, a way OP psychic, is all their tricks don't work.
Right.
How come all the psychics are not trying to block his psychic ability?
Because he's just stronger than them.
He's so strong.
He's just so powerful.
Just make, like, 10 Cerebros.
Who's the guy with the jack-o'-lantern head?
That's Jack-O-Lantern.
Is he a
You
bad
got it,
guy?
Ethan.
He was a bad guy.
Okay. What does he do?
He's like Hobgoblin, but he's a Jack-O'-Lantern.
He just throws his head.
pumpkin bombs.
He throws pumpkin bombs and rides a goblin glider.
Oh, okay.
How does he not throw his head? That would be great. That's like the ultimate bomb.
Because his head's in there.
Because he needs his head to live.
It's just a big
They just
silly
keep.
slap.
I mean, they've just been fighting.
Yeah, they just fight the whole time.
It's just a one big long fight.
Yep.
Uh,
and each time different teams are fighting him.
Right.
Because some people get knocked down. So other action figures come in and they go fight him.
So, Red Onslaught decided to show up to Genosha and be like, I'm gonna fuck this person.
No. Red Skull creates...
the area.
Power-augmented Red Skull goes and creates a concentration camp in Genosha, and then Magneto shows up and he's like, oh, hell no. He kills him, and then he becomes Red Onslaught. Now he's like, fuck everything, man!
Yeah, but how come he's not leaving and wreaking havoc everywhere else?
Well,
Because everyone keeps coming to him.
He's using his mental powers to make the world attack itself anyway. The heroes are like, this is our last stand.
Yeah, he's already taking over the world.
Yeah, he's already won, more or less.
So but they don't show you any of that. They don't show
Oh,
you
no.
what's happening in the world.
Oh, of course not.
Are there tie-ins that do that? Or
There are many times.
how could there be tie-ins? Because they're all in this one place.
Well, yeah, because like sometimes the tie-ins will show you their perspective the whole time, or sometimes it'll tell
this
you
one fight.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So ultimately,
Okay, so they keep fighting.
well, they fight him. Now you're past the fight. The fight's over. See, what happened was Wanda and Doctor Doom and I think Magneto team up
Okay.
to cast the inversion spell that Doctor Strange and Wanda were trying to enact.
Okay, to bring out the good.
Yeah, to flip.
Yeah,
you know.
to put Professor X in charge.
Yes.
Okay.
But their spell is interrupted, but it does wind up stopping Red Onslaught. And he reverts back to Red Skull, and then they're like, yay, we win.
Who's this?
That's Kid Apocalypse.
Oh, okay.
Evan.
Okay.
All right, so they beat him. Now we're still only a third of the way through this
Yep.
book. All right.
Even though their spell got interrupted.
Yes.
Well, so I assume the rest of the book has to do with what happens after that spell gets.
Yes. The Avengers are like, cool, well, Red Skull's incapacitated, we're going to take him and hold him in Avengers Tower until he's ready to serve trial. The
And, Magneto's like, how about we just kill him?
Oh, Magneto's gone. Oh, he fucking left. he left.
Like, all right, I beat him.
He was like, all right, I beat him, and all the heroes are going to try to arrest me. Puh! Leaves.
right.
No.
Smart move.
And the X-Men are like, Professor X's brain is in there, and we can wake him up, and Cyclops has a vested interest in that since he's the guy who killed him in the first place. And the
yeah,
Avengers
but
are like,
he's dead.
yeah, but like clearly
But, like,
the
his
psychic
brain
ability,
isn't dead.
yeah, we could maybe wake him up. Who knows? And the Avengers are like, who cares? No.
What body is he gonna have?
We'll find him one.
Well,
Who cares?
yeah,
Like, you're not even giving us a chance to figure it out.
Yeah, he'll take over some person who's in a coma who's not waking up.
Right, like in that great movie everyone liked.
Yeah.
So everyone just starts screaming at each other, and the Avengers are like, "We're leaving." And then Alex Havoc is like, "I can't believe that the Avengers would do something like that. I quit." And Wasp, you're a whore anyway. So and he leaves too. And it just everyone acts like a fucking 9-year-old kid.
Oh, is this because of...
The inversion spell. They didn't just invert the brains, they inverted everybody who was in the fight. So all the good guys suddenly become bad guys, and all the bad guys suddenly become good guys. And now we get a big, stupid fight between the bad guys who are now good guys and the good guys who are now
Well, if they're all
bad guys.
just fighting each other, what difference does it make who's good and who's bad?
Well, because now we get to see the bad guys being good for a minute. Like, Loki's a good guy, but Thor's a bad guy.
how do you know
Isn't
he's
that fucked up?
How do you know he's a good guy if they're just fighting each other?
Because
Do the bad guys actually, save,
actually,
civilians and stuff?
Carnage winds up, becoming Spider-Man and, saving people.
Okay.
And
it's all the
Spider-Man's
tie-ins.
but Spider-Man wasn't at the fight, so he didn't get inverted.
Oh.
Nova too. But,
Okay.
So, this is really weird,
yeah.
but do the bad guys suddenly become capable? Because they've gotten their asses handed to them all the fucking time
Right?
by the good guys.
Yeah, but now they're the only good guys, so it's
Right.
up to them.
And that means what to the Hulk?
Well, you'll find out. You see, by the way, Apocalypse is now in the book.
Carnage leaves notes behind saying, "From your friendly neighborhood, Carnage."
Yes. And Spider-Man's like, what the fuck is happening?
Okay, look. I am your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah, I leave the notes.
Not only that, but, you were never friendly. You may be good now, but,
Now he is.
where do you think you got this idea from?
Oh, no, he's emulating Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is a hero.
Because that's who he knows. He knows he has to be good now for some reason. So
Yep.
he's like, who will I use as my
Totem.
model
Yeah.
to follow?
By the way, Evan Kid Apocalypse, because he's inverted, he just becomes Apocalypse.
Okay, that's not how inversion works.
No, it does, because now he's Apocalypse, so shut up,
the only
Apocalypse in the
thing that
book.
made him
Okay,
Kid Apocalypse
does
was he wasn't the
Sabretooth
bad
become,
guy.
a
Yes.
hairless tiny thing?
No, he becomes a huge, hairless man. He becomes Apocalypse. He
No, I
literally
meant Sabretooth.
Sabretooth is literally just Sabretooth, but he's a good guy now.
No, I mean, no, he should be inverted, so he should be inside out and hairless.
The only one who's inverted and actually physically changes form is Apocalypse. And the
That's
reason why
so
that is
dumb.
because who gives a shit? So, Tony Stark is inverted.
Well, because
and
he's magic anyway.
Yeah.
So or mutant. He mutates
He's not
into
magic
a different
at all.
form.
he's
Well,
just,
as far
he's a
as you don't know how he works, so he's
Yeah.
magic.
yeah.
It's the same
I'm
thing.
banking on most people who's
It's-
reading
it's
Axis.
really advanced technology that looks like that, so it can do anything.
No, it's not. It's just the mutant abilities. There's no technology.
Well, is that one of
involved.
his abilities? Is
No.
that he can
No.
transform into one from one thing to another?
He can just get bigger. He can't turn into other people.
Okay. Well, maybe Kid Apocalypse could do that the whole time. He just chose not to.
Or maybe he didn't know he could do that.
Maybe.
Maybe he was resisting the
Yeah.
transformation because
Yeah.
he's good.
Could be. He was holding
How
it
would that
back.
change anything?
I don't know.
I'm bigger, so now I'm evil.
Well, it's just
no,
that
no,
he
when
is
he's
evil.
evil, he wants
He's
to
like,
become
oh,
big
fuck
and
this, I'm
scary."
bigger. Because Apocalypse can actually change his form and, in fact, does grow and shrink depending on the circumstances.
Oh, well,
so,
there you go.
all right, you know what? That actually does work. Evan can turn into into Apocalypse because now that he's evil, he's like, fuck being a kid. Brr, and he's big now.
Yeah.
Iron Man's also inverted, and now he's Robert Downey Jr. from the movies.
Right.
Like, literally, it's just, he's an asshole.
Is this
But
where
still a good guy.
is this where irredeemable
This is superior Iron Man.
comes from?
Yes, he's an alcoholic, and he uses his access to the extremis organic technology, and really it's in Superior Iron Man. Read Superior Iron Man. But like the only thing that you need to know in this is that he's an old asshole.
Okay.
And now all the X-Men are evil too.
Oh yeah, and the Avengers too.
Right.
And so the X-Men are like, the humans will never understand us. We must wage war against the Avengers and reclaim Red Skull, who's actually Professor X. That will be the only way to get this, to make things better. Mm-hmm. So then, and Apocalypse is like, fuck that, I'm in charge now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fuck over every human on the planet by creating a genetic bomb. It's just a bomb that when it goes off, it'll kill all humans.
Oh.
That's the plan.
It targets their genetic.
Yeah. Whatever.
Lack
And
of
Magneto's like,
X-G.
woo!
Yeah. But basically enough, Magneto's like, we've got to stop him. He's inverted, so he's like, no, this is impossible. So, yeah.
No, wait, wasn't he good?
Magneto No. Magneto was Magneto. He's like, fuck Red Skull, but now I'm inverted, so also fuck Apocalypse. And also, Apocalypse doesn't have room for me in his plans anyway.
That's not inverted at all.
That's kind of inverted.
No, it's inverted because Magneto does work to try and help everybody and save the day. And in fact, Wanda is a nightmare because she's got her reality-altering powers,
right.
which she doesn't use to full effect, and so whatever. But she does basically...
Well, she can't. Then they would win the book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then the book would be over. But she does attack Magneto a lot. And at one point... actually, no, I think Quicksilver is not inverted. So Quicksilver and Magneto trying to take down Wanda, and she says, you know what, I've had enough of both of you. You guys are we're the reason House of M happened, so fuck all y'all. I'm going to cast a fucking spell that will that will incapacitate my family.
I like that you're still doing the Doctor Strange thing.
It's magic.
That's just
Wanda
magic
does it too.
Oh, really? That's like the magic...
This is a pose you used in order to wield magic.
And also thwip.
That's this. That's to tap twice.
That's fucking like cash magic right there.
It's just a cool pose.
Makes me bank.
So Wanda casts a spell to incapacitate her family, and then Quicksilver goes, oh! And Magneto goes, huh? And that's their retcon for how Magneto is not their dad anymore. And how Wanda and Quicksilver aren't mutants anymore because of those movies.
Oh my god. Okay.
So
And-
he just...
Oh, we were wrong the whole
Wait.
time. We weren't.
Yep, it turns out it was just another lie. Oops. And Wanda's like, as it turns out, you never had a family. You're all alone. She tries to make it into oh no, but everyone who's reading it's like, fuck you.
Yeah, that's lame as
Yeah.
shit.
Fuck you. So,
Why does the art get all goofy?
they change.
Weird?
Oh, they change artists. You see, because they don't want the book to be late.
Ah.
Different artists are drawing different books.
Okay.
So, it's hilarious. Doctor Doom goes back to Latveria and he's like, "It's a democracy now." But then Wanda shows up. She's like, "Oh no, you don't. You're a dick, and you try to fuck me over in Avengers: Children's Crusade." So, blah, magic, and Doctor Doom's like, "What?" And then exit both of them because that's.
Man, I forgot about that.
Yeah. It's amazing because it's like a fucking. It's like editorial said, "I hate continuity. Make a book that makes everyone hate continuity."
Can do.
And they totally do. Like Thor.
Dude's just like, who are you?
What? Thor, for example, he basically becomes like a Norse god. He's like he goes to Vegas and just starts gambling and drinking and reveling in his godhood. And Loki is like, Thor, you have to stop. You have to stop being a dick. And Thor's like, fuck you. You're not even my brother. And Loki's like, I have always loved you, Thor, and I've always been jealous of you. And Thor's like, I care not for your bullshit. And slaps him around. And then, by the way, becomes unworthy of Mjolnir.
Of course.
But you know who is? Loki, and he picks up Mjolnir and looks just like Wiccan, but
no,
don't get confused because they're different characters.
Mjolnir is also inverted, so...
Yeah, no, Mjolnir is not inverted. Loki just picks it up and he uses it to beat the shit out of Thor. But then
He's like, this feels great.
he does. He's like, I'm worthy. Like, it's kind of cool for Loki because you're like, this poor son of a bitch is the king of lies, and he's just like always fucked over. He's always destined to lose. He literally died in Siege, and now he's back and he's young and he's cute, whatever. And he's just like trying to fucking, and now he's inverted and he's trying to like tell his brother he loves him, but now his brother's an asshole. And he's got Mjolnir and he's like, woohoo! And then they fucking cast the reinversion spell. He drops Mjolnir. He's like, oh! And by the way, the reinversion spell makes some inverted characters not remember that they were inverted in the first place. So Thor doesn't even remember that Loki was worthy. And Thor's the only one who saw Loki be worthy, so if Loki ever tells anybody that he was worthy of Mjolnir, no one will believe him because he's always a liar. And so there's the tragedy of Loki, her. Like, there's 1,000,009 things. It's a fruitcake of a comic book. It's just jam-packed with shit. I didn't even get into Spider-Man, who, by the way, wasn't even inverted, and he's like the only... Because he wasn't there. He wasn't at the fucking party. So then, like, Falcon or Captain America hosts a big party for everybody. He invites all the heroes to Avengers Tower, and they all go. And some of them aren't inverted, and you know, others are. And the ones that aren't are not standing at, like, the buffet table. And Captain America's like, fuck all y'all, Pym particles, bitch! And they all just shrink, and he shoves them into a fucking Hank Pym-designed prison for small people. And Spider-Man, who has a spider sense, fucking grabbed Little Nova, jumps out the window and avoids that shit, but then he gets attacked by all the Avengers who are inverted and bad guys. So, you know, that's how we explain why there aren't any superheroes in this book, except for the assholes.
Was the
and
Hulk
Spider-Man.
inverted?
Yes! Hulk has a Hulk! Named Clue, which is Hulk spelled backwards.
What?
Yeah, Hulks out! As a result of the inversion.
Sure.
Okay.
And becomes not like Puny Banner or like a young... No, he becomes just a black evil Hulk. Who calls himself Hulk backwards.
Why does he change color?
Because he's a bad Hulk now.
Well, didn't you
Hulk
understand?
could control his color the whole time. He just
Always.
chooses to be green.
Or, no, it's just...
Because green is good.
Yeah!
Yeah, look at the Green Lanterns. And Green
Those are different
Goblin.
universes! So...
Well, maybe it's like
I just meant the cross
it's like
comics.
psychic
Yes.
color changing. It's not real.
No, it's...
Caused by the psychic energies, like the bar armor and the tentacles.
Yeah,
the psychic
exactly.
Tentacles.
Yeah, no, because Hulk has no psychic ability.
Well, it's all from the.
Oh, it's all from Red Onslaught.
Yeah, it's
he's
like
not Red
leftover
Onslaught
power
anymore
from Red Onslaught,
because
I don't even know.
because Red Skull gets fucking inverted too and becomes White Skull, who's just regular Skull, and fucking just.
What does that even mean?
It's just he's Red Skull, but he's got a white skull.
And now he's like, oh, no,
this is
why
red
do we all get
color.
Because it's
along?
inverted.
Why does people's bodies change because their
So only
brains
some
get turned
characters
evil?
change because they have because whatever.
So that you can see
Fuck
it.
you. That's why.
Yeah, because we're making it, you know.
How come Storm's mohawk isn't black now?
I don't know. Great question.
This is
Alright.
confusing as hell.
No, it's not. Just the
Just
good
go
guys
with it.
become
Just-
bad
just-
guys, and the bad guys become good guys,
and
and then
sometimes they change color for no reason.
and they have to fight. Deadpool, for example,
why
he gets inverted kinda, and he wears like a white outfit instead of a red outfit,
Okay, well, you could actually change your outfit.
and he just changes his outfit.
Yeah.
Why isn't Hulk attacking everyone?
He basically is, but he
He's sitting
wants
at the table right there.
yeah,
Calmly.
but begrudgingly. He's like, all right, what do you want? Like, what mission are you gonna put me on that's gonna make me smash the most stuff?
I see. Well, because bad guys sometimes do work together.
Yeah,
and
exactly. They're just
now,
bad guys.
so-
He's not like a rage. He's actually
He is a rage monster.
He's less rage induced than before because now he's like evil. He's got the cold, calculating mind of a villain.
Well, what version of Hulk was he before he got inverted?
He was still an intelligent guy, right?
Could he talk?
He could talk, but all right, he had
tangent.
Bruce Banner's brain,
Yeah!
but when he was made to hate everybody before when Red Onslaught was attacking everybody with his mind earlier in the book, he started to become more of just a mindless, like, me am Hulk smash.
Yeah, but that
type
was
character.
before Tony was able to, like, invert everyone
Yeah,
with his aura
Well,
thing.
he didn't invert. Be careful with all the
nullify,
words.
I'm
and-
sorry,
yeah,
nullify.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't want to fucking confuse our audience. So, yeah, it doesn't matter. Evil Hulk has a brain. Moving on. Because it doesn't matter. Like, Hulk can be Doc Green, or Smash Hulk, or fucking gray or whatever, depending on the writer and depending on the circumstances. And it's not like magic or mind control. It's just sometimes he has this period and sometimes he has this period. And like right now he's inverted, and so as he's inverted, he has his brain, but he's also a total asshole. And he can't lose control, or rather we don't see him lose control, but rather he enjoys smashing. His smashing is like the direct result of losing control, but he's like, yay, this is fun. Like, he is still in control of his faculties. He's not like the Hulk.
He's choosing to smash.
Exactly.
Right.
He's not like mindless like the Hulk is.
See, before when I smashed, I couldn't help it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a delinquent.
That's
now.
right. Yeah. Now he's a dick.
So okay, so Apocalypse kills Deadpool.
Well, he rips off his head. That doesn't kill
he's not
Deadpool
dead.
because Deadpool has a healing factor. No, Deadpool goes to the X-Men because he's like, this isn't Apocalypse. This is Evan, my friend. And if I can reach him, maybe he can use his vast Apocalypse powers to help me stop this.
Okay.
He is beaten to near death and his head and decapitated for his troubles by Apocalypse.
Where does he grow back from? Does he grow from his head?
That's a great
back
question.
out, or does his head regrow on his body?
they reattach his head and his body.
Oh, okay.
You know what it is? His neck kind of like squids it over there, and like
His like throat drags him over there. So Steve Rogers, who is old, he, along with Spider-Man and Nova, who's a kid, Sam Alexander, they are like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And then Sam is like, oh shit, things are happening. He fucking Nova bolts over there before they can even think. And Steve is like, okay, well, the X-Men are probably gonna go for Red Skull. So he puts on the 90s Captain America armor that he puts on when his super soldier serum stopped working back then, when it was a publicity stunt, and they were like, look at Captain America's new armor! He fucking puts that old, stupid, bullshit 90s armor back on in order to be strong enough to battle his comrades who have been inverted, if he has to, when he goes to liberate Red Skull.
Oh, so he wasn't inverted either.
No,
No,
Steve Rogers
he
wasn't
was
there.
old. He wasn't there. Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man literally just goes and tries to defuse the genetic bomb. Steve Rogers goes and liberates White Skull, Captain America, fucking Professor X, kinda. At one point,
Wait, what?
well, like now that he's inverted, the thing they wanted to happen happened. So Charles Xavier's in control of the Red Skull's body.
And he looks like him now too.
He just looks like Red Skull, but he has a white skull.
Oh, I cannot find him in this book.
He's in there. Don't worry.
Is that him? Or
That's
after?
Mystique pretending to be Professor X.
Okay, that's what. Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
Basically, both teams just wind up fighting. They basically go like, okay, it's time to stop the
Now
X-Men
we-
once and for all. And the X-Men are like, and the Avengers are like, okay, it's time to stop.
And the X-Men are still led by Apocalypse.
Yes.
Right now. Okay.
Yeah. And
so
Sabretooth is inverted, and so is Mystique.
heads don't worry, because Sabretooth is there too. And
Yeah,
now
and he's
gonna
inverted,
fight.
and he is like, he feels bad because he's like, I've been a dick the whole time, and fuck that.
And Wolverine's like, hey.
Wolverine's like dead.
I thought I saw a picture of him.
That's
Is
a
that just memory?
flashback.
As a
God damn it.
flashback, yeah.
There's a lot of moments where characters try to appeal to their good nature, and the good guys who have been inverted to bad guys are like, you don't understand. I've always really, really felt this way, and I hate you, and I'm unreachable. And it's like, even though they're obviously lying, you're like, are they telling the truth? Like, it's just this weird thing where, for no reason, everybody who is evil, who's inverted to good, tries the hero speech on the hero who's now bad, and it never works.
Well, you understand,
At
because
all.
you remember your character that you love?
Yeah.
Fuck them, they're terrible
they're,
on the inside.
They're always evil. Or, like, the inversion spell is so good that they're just so bad.
Maybe the idea is that, like, nobody's, like, completely good or evil. Like, everyone has, like, some negative impulses, and, like, the difference is, like, which you allow to take over. And this
And the Red
inversion
Onslaught really
causes the amplification
of the worst
of the worst
aspects.
aspect and the minimization of the good aspects. You know?
Or the negation of the worst, of the best aspects.
So you don't just totally get different motives and different beliefs. It just amplifies.
Yeah.
What you already thought.
Exactly.
And makes you your better your worser nature comes out.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So basically, fucking Doom, Wanda, and Professor X in the Red Skull's body
Yeah.
Right.
use
White
their
Skull.
combined psychic and magic abilities
Okay.
to reinvert everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
They just
But
say the right words. or whatever.
Superior Iron Man liked being a dickhead and uses the inhibitors that he had
Oh,
invented
yeah.
before to block the inversion and creates a bubble around himself, Havoc, and Sabretooth. So Havoc, Sabretooth, and Iron Man remain inverted. So
Okay.
everybody else is
Yeah.
fixed.
Havoc is
So-
still bad.
Havoc sucks. Sabretooth is great.
and
And Iron Man's a
a
dick.
dick.
That's a tick.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And that's that.
And that's that.
And I'm a dick because I wanted Sabretooth to feel bad all the time.
I mean, like, I
That's
think it's
why
just
I
that Sabretooth
included
was
him.
near them. But as a result, Havoc, who didn't give a shit about, like, mutant kind or whatever, and also was in love with Wasp,
right.
Yeah.
he's like, fuck you, Wasp! And he leaves, and then he joins Scott Summers' brother as part of the Extreme X-Men team, who's like, we gotta fucking stop being like Xavier. Like, we're gonna be more, like, hardcore. He forgives Scott Summers because he's like a dickhead.
Right.
And he's like, you got the
You're
right
a dick.
idea.
I'm a dick.
Yeah, except Scott isn't
And we're
inverted
brothers.
anymore.
Yeah, he's just-
It's basically Remender saying, like, no, Scott Summers is a fuckhead. It's like, hey, really?
He killed Charles Xavier.
Yeah, don't forget.
Yeah, but he was like possessed by the Phoenix
Exactly,
Force, so,
but
like,
he's also, like, not apologetic about it.
Yeah, but you
Right.
understand, part of those feelings
but it
were
felt
always
like it was right,
there.
yeah.
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 He always felt that way a
I
little
guess
bit.
I wanted to kill Professor X. I didn't realize
Yeah.
it until the Phoenix took me over, but it feels kind of right.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, and
Blah.
also, Spider-Man tries to stop that genetic bomb that
Yeah.
Apocalypse built.
Yeah, what happens with the bomb?
Spider-Man doesn't know how to defuse, like, a bomb like that, so he's gonna, like, sacrifice himself to, like, destroy it, and Carnage is like, you can't. Like, he basically, Spider-Man's like, maybe I can web it, and, like, enough webbing will, like, when it explodes, it'll, like, impact it, and Carnage shows up.
That's
and
not how webbing works.
He pours himself over it, and he absorbs the blast of the bomb.
Okay.
And so Carnage just kills himself to save everybody.
Why didn't they just throw the bomb into space?
Well, because
No one who was spacefaring was near the bomb.
because Carnage can't do that.
Yeah.
Even though
could.
he was in
Thor was
space,
inverted
wasn't
and
there.
fighting Loki.
Yeah. He wasn't there. He was fighting Loki.
And inverted.
Yeah. Why was Spider-Man the only one who had like? Did the villains not realize there was a genetic bomb, or they
No, they-
didn't really care about it?
They were not either. They weren't aware, or they were dealing with with other
Right,
problems.
Right.
But Carnage is like, I'm gonna fucking stop this, and so what I want you to, and like it's this weird fucking moment where he's like, I want you to build a statue of me, like made of rhinestones, playing Freebird all the time, and it like, it's just like this weird like
What?
this weird redneck tribute that like because
He's
Cletus Cassidy was Southern, and even though for the first 10 years of his existence no one cared or made that a distinctive marker for his personality,
Yeah.
the
Now-
last 10 years everyone's like, lol, Carnage is Southern, let's make jokes about that.
Okay.
So, Carnage, whatever.
So they brought him back for this story just so they could kill him again.
No, they brought him back so they could do multiple miniseries starring Carnage and then kill him.
Oh.
But don't worry, they brought him back like a year later.
They brought him back again.
How this time?
I don't
Who
remember.
cares?
Well, so you see, the bomb wasn't a bomb that explodes. It was a genetic
No,
bomb.
it's just that now that we've established
to
that his
take away or to kill people who aren't mutants. But Carnage is
Was
like
just a
neither
guy.
mutant nor human, so it doesn't even affect him.
No, there was
they've
human
already
there.
established that Carnage can't die because the
Right.
symbiote blah blah blah. So
Right.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just reformed.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
And I took all the pieces of Cletus Cassidy
Yep, and I
brought
put them
back
together because I'm also
and I
like
healed
because the
him.
symbiote's like a cloning healing machine or something.
Well, and
Yeah.
like now it's part of his blood.
Yep.
Some piece of him and printed onto
What would
body
happen?
parts or
Yeah. No. So then,
well, maybe Carnage like absorbed Cletus into him.
I mean,
So like
in Maximum
Cletus'
Carnage,
body doesn't even exist anymore. It's all just Carnage.
yeah. I mean, in Maximum Carnage, he establishes that like the symbiote's part of his bloodstream,
That's
Yeah.
right.
but it's not like. But if you cut off his arm, it'll fucking regrow or anything. But then again, they never explored that until later. So
Yeah, he's not the
So
lizard.
Now it's
Yeah.
like that.
The other thing that happens is the bad guys who had been inverted into good guys made a confession tape that they were responsible for doing everything bad
Why?
to save the reputation of the heroes.
Oh, it's like we're
before
good.
they turned bad again?
No. Yes, before they turned bad, but
They knew they were gonna be bad again.
they knew they were going to get fixed. Or they
Wow,
expected...
so like-
they believed in their heroes enough
right
to save the day.
They're like, we're the good guys, so we would do this. We would
Yes.
make sure that the world still worships the people who will be good when we get reinverted.
That's right, because otherwise the public will never trust the X-Men or the Avengers.
You see, the bad guys are the true heroes.
Well, in this particular case,
story, yes.
because they were inverted.
Yeah,
So they would have to be the true heroes, otherwise they weren't inverted.
that's right.
They could do nothing else, really.
No, it's true.
there was no chance.
It was so
That's how
horrible.
they make it such that the world is not pissed off with all the heroes.
Yes, that's how they put. That's how they could have the story. That's how they could have their cake and eat it too.
And eat it too.
But the only thing that,
Dear God.
by the way, after then like shortly thereafter, Secret Wars happens and everything is destroyed and killed, including like everybody. Like Superior Iron Man and Captain America like fight until they die, and then are resurrected in the Marvel Prime universe, and he's not superior anymore. But Sabretooth is inverted though. He gets to be a good guy.
Because doesn't
And
we want
Havoc,
Sabretooth to be
whatever, who
nice?
cares? Yeah, don't we want to see Sabretooth be a good guy for a while? I get. Who cares?
Can't we have him get off Wolverine's back? Jeez.
Wolverine's dead. They don't even get to explore that because Wolverine's fucking dead. Only now he's old, so maybe they'll, like, be friends.
And now Sabretooth's like, I never got to apologize.
Who knows? Axis. This is one of the worst things ever. And it's funny because we've done a lot of books over the last couple of weeks that were really, really great.
Yeah.
And you guys have been like, yeah, comics. And I'm like, yeah, guess what, though?
Guess what? They're still shitty sometimes.
The promo was this Jim Chung drawing of, like, the heroes and the villains and Axis, and you could flip it, and you could see that it says
It's a
Axis
book
both
either
ways.
way. Except one
Green
way.
Goblin is one of the bad guys. But then they decided not to use Green Goblin. So they tried to change the colorization after they already released all the promo materials of Green Goblin on the team.
It's a hobgoblin?
To be... but it's, like, obviously not Hobgoblin.
Right, because it doesn't fucking look like Hobgoblin.
No, this is just... nobody cares. But except they do, because, like, they are really, really... this book is heavily dependent on continuity. Especially recent continuity. Like, this directly falls into line from the Uncanny Avengers arc, which was from the Avengers X-Men arc. Like, everything is connected. Fucking, like, Wanda and Doom and the relationship from Children's Crusade. Fucking, the parentage of Wanda and Pietro. You know, Spider-Man's status as an Avenger. Like, there's a lot of stuff in here that is directly the result of continuity, but it's also like, we want to have this stupid story about all this bullshit. Like, this didn't need to be as complicated as it was. And this didn't need to be as dense and miserable as it was. And the concept of, like, let's do Civil War without doing Civil War again is just like, fuck you.
Yeah, you just did that not that long ago.
Well, that was 9 years ago. From this perspective.
So I guess you gotta have them all just fight each other.
Yeah, well, literally 2 years after this is published, Civil War 2 will be out, where they're gonna fight each other all over again.
Yeah, except, like, now they're both good.
Yeah, except now it's just for ideological reasons, which was the reason of Civil War in the first place. This is just like, well, let's just do Civil War, but, like, make it...
Well, we want the bad guys to be good.
But let's also bring in the bad guys, too.
Yeah.
Okay, then why don't you just have the good guys fight the bad guys again?
Well, but we've always seen that.
Yeah.
Well, we've never seen Carnage be a good guy.
Right.
We've never seen, like, the Enchantress.
So come up with a valid, like, story reason why they would do that.
We
and do
did.
it in
We
their
made
own
Red
book.
Skull into
That's
the
not the valid
onslaught.
story reason. That's a bullshit magic hand-wavy reason.
Yes, it is. And that's comics, everybody. You can pick up a copy of Axis in the description box below this video if you feel so inclined. And we'll see you guys next week with hopefully something a little better than this. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben.
See you guys next week.